Are you feeling stuck in unhealthy habits, toxic relationships, or low self-esteem? Do you crave a healthy relationship filled with inspiration, love, acceptance, and fun? You are tuned into the right place. The Laura Richer Show starts now. Join me, dating coach Laura Richer, and my co-host, matchmaker Peggy Bennett, as we share tools for using your dating breakdown for a relationship breakthrough. You might just be on the verge of attracting your soulmate. Attract the relationship you truly want and deserve. Now, join us for the show. Welcome to the Laura Richer Show, broadcasting on Transformation Talk Radio. I'm your host, dating and life coach Laura Richer, and I'm also the owner of Richer Healing, Hypnosis, Reiki, and Coaching. I am so excited for today's episode because we have a special guest. I am welcoming back my co-host from last season, Andi Lucas.
Hello, Laura.
Hi,
it's so good to be back.
Yay!
It's good to have her back.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So Andi is the owner of Hummingbird Marketing Services, which is a boutique marketing firm that helps small businesses by offering a flutter of creative solutions, including my business, Richer Healing.
Yes.
And like I said, she was also our host for last season, as I'm sure y'all remember. So welcome to the show, Andi. I'm so glad to have you today.
I am really, really glad to be back. It's Valentine's Day.
Yes,
I'm
it
so
is.
thrilled to be here. And I'm really excited about our topic today.
Me too. So it was really important for me to have Andi on the show for this Valentine's Day Eve because she was such an integral part of the creation of my dating program, the Richer Love program. And me and Andi are actually the original members of the Sasterhood, which we are going to be talking
Sasterhood.
about a little more later on in the show.
Yes.
And so, Andi, I couldn't think of anyone better to join me today as we talk to all of those ladies that are struggling with dating and just want to find him already.
I completely understand their feeling, and thank you so much for having me back. It was so fun doing the show with you last year and being a part of it. So thank you so much for having me back. And I am so excited about this program that you put together, this 12-week dating intensive called Richer Love. And for those who don't know, could you share with us? Could you just explain what this program is?
Yes. So I have been a coach for many years now. And this program, this online dating coach program that I developed was really born out of my own dating experience. I was
Right.
single for 5 years and kind of struggled with dating after I had gotten divorced. And towards the end of my dating journey, before I met my person that I'm with now, it all kind of clicked for me. And I thought, geez, this could have been a lot easier had I gone about it a little different way.
Sure.
And also integrated into that is some of your dating journey, which was why I wanted to have you on the show today.
Yes.
So we were both kind of going through this process at the same time and learning together. So I have developed a 12-week program that teaches women what I learned about dating over a 5-year period. So you get a crash course and don't have to do it quite as long as I
You don't
did.
have to suffer for 5 years. That's okay. I'll
Yeah.
take that.
And it's really, I think it's a little different than a lot of dating programs because the first 8 weeks of the program is about not dating and actually doing
Yes.
some inner work and some healing work so that when you are ready to date and get out there, you're in a really good place so that you can attract that soulmate sooner than later.
Yes, I think it's a really fantastic program because of that. You also encourage at the beginning to not even be on social media, to just do a cleanse from all of it.
Yes.
Why is that? Why do you feel like that's important?
You know, I did that myself. I had just been having, as I've shared many times before, I had a run of bad dates and I wasn't connecting with the right people. And I just felt like my energy was just out of whack. So
Mhm.
I wanted to take that time to be off of social media, be off of any dating sites to just really focus on me and doing my own work and not comparing myself to what anyone else was doing or what was
Yes.
going on in their lives. Cause I do think that energetically sometimes that can really throw us off. And then we kind of
Yes.
get into a negative space because we're seeing people have what we want to attract
Yeah.
in our lives and it's not happening.
Right. And it does, and that what is happening on social media is not always what is really happening.
True.
Right.
Yes. It's
People
that.
no one's going to post, my God, I've had the worst day ever. Look at me. My mascara is running. I'm crying. I just had terrible dates. No one posts that kind of stuff.
I don't know that I have ever seen anyone post that. Have you?
No, I have not seen that. I've only seen all the wonderful things that happen. Oh, and look at this
Yeah.
present he gave me, and everything's so wonderful. And it's really not accurate. It's not an accurate portrayal of life.
Yeah. And so when you're struggling to see that, although you do see a cryptic meme every now and again that you know
I sure
something has
do.
maybe gone wrong.
Yes, you do.
Yes. So, I felt like it was really good to just reset my energy. I took about a month to just do a dating cleanse, social media cleanse. I actually did a diet cleanse. Like I was
Yeah.
just cleansing everything.
Yes.
But it gave me the opportunity to just really focus on myself, and it worked really well because when I started dating again, I met Travis right away. So
Yes.
that I wanted to put that as, and I wish I would have done that in the beginning, just
Yes.
taken that time to focus on me. So what about you, Andy? I want to hear a little bit about your dating journey.
Yes. So I was with somebody for about 4 years. I've mentioned him before many times last season on the show. And it was where I thought I was going. I thought I was going to get married and we were going to have babies and everything was going to be wonderful. And the truth is the relationship was not perfect at all. It wasn't working. He was significantly younger than me, like 12 years younger. And so we just weren't even in the same space mentally. He was chronically unemployed. I was always paying for everything. And then now he lives in a van. By some kind of waterside. I'm not sure if it's in Hawaii again. Yeah, there.
Yes,
Down in the van by
boy.
river.
That's a van boy. So after that, I was kind of shattered. I went through a serious depression because it wasn't just letting go of this relationship, but it was letting go of the dream of what I thought my life was going to be. But so I took about 3 years off. I couldn't really date, and I did a lot of soul searching. I finally came to admit, it took about a year, but what were my responsibilities in the relationship and what was my half of why it went wrong? And I had just picked the wrong person altogether and wasn't choosing to acknowledge that. So after about 3 years, then I started dating. And that first year of dating, I would go into every date like, oh my God, is this going to be my new boyfriend? Is this the one? Is this it? And I went in with these outrageous expectations that nobody could ever fulfill. And I always left disappointed, or I would try to pretend that this guy was great and continue going out with somebody, for instance, who let his 7 birds fly loose in his house. So there was always bird food on the floor. I mean, I was like, well, this could work. I don't like birds.
But you know that you're not a bird person, right? So you were overlooking you own cats. I mean, it just wasn't going to work.
That was never going to work.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first year. And then at that point, you and I were single and dating at the same time. And while it created a lot of funny stories, we also created our own sisterhood, which we'll get to later in the show. But having that support of somebody and then kind of talking through, hey, this isn't really what you want, Andy, is it? Oh, okay, no, it isn't. So then that last year, I kind of went in with different expectations. And maybe it was the last 6 months. I went in with different expectations. Like, I'm just here to have fun. Maybe I'll meet somebody, maybe I won't. And then I met Zach. And it was he's everything that I had hoped for. And I went in with absolutely zero expectations. I had no idea that this would turn into that. And it's been fantastic, but it did take 5 years. So I'm glad
we're both very slow learners. And I also, a lot of the experiences that you had, I've really made note of what we both went through during that 5-year period so that I can help coach women to not have to have some of these experiences, because I work with so many women in my business right now, and they're usually really strong, career-oriented, empowered women who totally know how to kick butt in their careers, but in relationship, they just are not able to manifest what it is they're looking for. And so this program is specifically for those women to help them figure out what they can shift so that they can open up to attracting the experience that they really want.
So that's fantastic, because I was that person. I had this great career and everything was going well, but I just couldn't figure that stuff out. So who else is a good candidate for Richer Love?
I think one of the things that really tripped me up was I found myself single at a time in my life when I didn't expect to be. I got divorced when I was 35. I had never done any
Yeah.
online dating. That wasn't even a thing the last time I had been single.
Right.
So I really just was kind of clueless about dating. I had actually
Mhm.
never even really dated. So I think for somebody who's, 30-ish or better, who finds themselves single at a point in life that maybe they didn't expect to be. I've worked with people all the way up into their 70s. So you can
Fantastic.
get
So
back
the
at it
age doesn't
anytime.
matter. Age does not matter.
No, not at all.
Okay.
And also, I work with a lot of really great women who are feel like they are ready for love, but it just isn't happening, and they just don't understand why that is. And
Right.
usually, once we work together, we can kind of zero in on what is. There is a reason why it's not happening,
Yes.
and that can be all kinds of things. It could just be that you have more healing work to do from past relationships. It could be that you are stuck in a pattern of just choosing the wrong person and you really need to figure out what that's about.
Yeah.
It can just be that you don't have a clear vision of what you're trying to create in your life, and so I can help with all of those things.
Yes. So how does richer love help women? How does it kind of work? How, if you get to that person where you're zeroing in and they're still trying to heal from a past relationship, what happens?
So I have the 12-week program has 12 weeks of exercises, coaching exercises, self hypnosis exercises
Oh,
that really help you do the work. I mean, I'm coming to you in your living room, wherever you're watching your computer,
yes.
and giving you the tools that I use with clients in person, so that they
Mhm.
can go through that process over the 12 weeks of doing the work of healing, of letting go, of creating a vision of who it is they actually are trying to attract, which a lot of times is interesting. Women think they're looking for a person that actually doesn't line up with their life vision. So that's something that we can help work on as well. But I also work with the clients one on one. So we do have 3 one-on-one sessions where I work with them, and we're doing work that is specific to what comes up for them.
That's
And then there's a
fantastic.
group call component as well, so we can check in with the group every week and see how everybody else is doing, and get insights and learn from everybody else's experiences as well.
I love that. I love that you said that there's the hypnosis aspect. And I don't think, I mean, there are other dating programs out there for sure, but
Yeah,
I don't think many of them have you take a dating cleanse to figure out your own stuff. They
right.
just kind of push you out there. And two, the hypnosis aspect. So can you talk a little bit more about that? Because that's something unique you bring, that you're a hypnotherapist.
Yes, I am a hypnotherapist, and I think a lot of times we think we are wanting to create something in our lives, but there's some kind of block that we're not even aware of. So something is going on in the subconscious that is sabotaging what you're trying to create. So when I work with clients, I always use hypnotherapy as part of the process, to help explore that on a deeper level. What is it that is holding you back? And even in my online program that you will have each week a different hypnotherapy that you can use that is related to the topic that we're working on that week, to help you go deeper and to find out what is it that is blocking you in this aspect of your life. So sometimes, like you said, in your dating experience, it took you 3 years to even get to a point where you felt ready to date, because there was healing that had to happen.
Yes.
And I'm sure during that 3 years you might have even thought, gee, I wish I'd meet somebody. But
Yes. To
there
take
was
this away so I don't have to think about it anymore.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Don't we wish it could work like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
And
need
what
somebody else who cures all my
it'll
problems.
just take it away.
Yeah.
What was interesting though, when I met Zach, so I had taken all that time off and then was just kind of dating, but now I'm in this serious relationship. And I found that some of the same issues came up, but
Mhm.
because I had spent some time thinking about them and processing them, I was able to, and I chose someone who had emotional intelligence, which was rare for me. I had never dated anyone who was emotionally intelligent.
See, that
We,
finally
yeah,
clicked.
we were able to kind of talk through it, and I could then process stuff that had been just roadblocks in the past.
Mm.
It's really kind of fantastic. I want to ask really quickly so that anyone listening, because I know there's lots of people, we're all snowed in up here in Seattle, so
Yep,
there's people
working
getting in
from
and
our
out
home
of their
offices.
cars. How do people reach you for the Richer Love program?
So you can go to my website, richardlove.com, and just fill out the request for a complimentary consultation. I do an hour free consultation with all potential clients just to see if you are a good fit for the program, and let you know how it works.
And you're
So
on
if you are
Facebook too.
curious, just go to richardlove.com and you'll find me there.
That's perfect. I know you're on Facebook too, Richer Love Dating Program, and Instagram, Richer_love.
Yes.
So one of the things that you have talked about is really getting clear on who it is that you're looking for, right?
Mhm.
Like you had just said something that I thought was really good. Sometimes who you're looking for doesn't really line up with what you think you want.
Right.
So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so an example I can give, several clients have given me that I've worked with over the years, is that they're very attracted to kind of alpha type males, like maybe very career driven males, or very like, whatever, they're just very focused on themselves and very successful in their own lives. And that's fantastic, right? That's a great trait to have. However, what they're looking for is a partnership and a connection, and maybe to have a family. And so that type of a person might not line up with what they're going to be doing in their life. If they're
Right.
very career driven and they're very like pushing their own life ahead, and that is their main focus, that while you can appreciate those traits and they're not a bad person, if your vision is to come together in a partnership and have a family, that might not line up with that. And so you might
Right.
need to open your mind to the idea that somebody else is going to be a better fit than who you thought your type was.
Right. That is very interesting. And I
Yeah.
think back in my own experience, I always thought that I wanted this kind of skater rat,
Mhm.
kind of Tony Hawkish guy.
Yeah.
Well, a skater rat isn't really a provider for a family. No offense to Tony, and Tony Hawk
And
is.
Tony Hawk is. He is.
I know. I was like,
there's
hang
some.
on now.
That's
Ain't nothing really.
fantastic.
Okay.
Tony Hawk is,
Hang
but
on.
I kind of catch him on the rise up or on their downfall. So, so that wasn't that the skater rat wasn't really going to be my type. And it just took some time to figure that out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or even, in one of my unconscious patterns that I didn't realize until I had my 5 years to kind of focus on myself and my own stuff. Although I did clutter that up with a lot of odd dating experiences, if
Sure.
I'm
Oh,
being
yes.
honest. But
Yes, you did.
was
Woo.
I was always connecting with people who needed help in some sort of way. And I am a therapist and I'm a natural
Yes.
helper, and I love to do that. And I know how to play that role. I know how to show up and help somebody.
Yes.
So what I didn't realize, though, that didn't support my vision in being in a partnership. That's not a
Right.
partnership.
That's rescue. You were rescuing.
I was doing some
Fixing
rescuing. Yeah.
and
So
fixing.
that's not a partnership. And so what I really wanted was an equal partner that would support me just as much as I supported them. But I was looking in the wrong places for that. I was looking, connecting with people who, I saw the potential that they might have, which,
Yes.
may not have been their vision
Very
at all. In fact, I'm
dangerous.
sure it wasn't.
No, it's not. It's very dangerous to fall in love with someone's potential.
Yes.
We've all done
So
it. Yeah.
when I was really clear on what my vision was for the relationship that I wanted to be in, I started to realize, the type of person that maybe I naturally gravitated to just unconsciously was not going to be a good fit. And so I started to look for the traits of the person that would be a good fit in my life vision. And I actually, when I met Travis, didn't, I thought he's younger than me, and that wasn't really something that I was looking for. I'd never dated anyone younger than me, and that was, I kind of thought, I don't know if this is something that could work. But I was so clear about what I was looking for, and he was all of those things that I was able
Yes.
to identify. Well, maybe this isn't actually an obstacle because he's checking all of the other boxes of what I'm looking for in a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is interesting because you said that before with the fixing, you weren't having a partnership. And the number one thing I think of when I think of you and Travis is that you guys are such a good team. You
Mhm.
work so well together, and it is a true partnership. It's very admirable. I love watching you guys together because
Oh.
you really complement each other and work so well together. It's really fantastic. So you have
Well,
gotten
thank
what
you.
you wanted.
And I
Yeah.
did. And we do, I mean, just projects that are always super annoying that you don't want to do, like move and things where you could really be at odds with each other. We are a good team. But that's
Yes.
because, in the past, there was a lot of things I didn't consider when I'm like, oh, this guy's cute and fun. Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
This could work. Yeah, he lives in his car. That's okay.
Yeah, he'll get a house at some point. It's fine. So yeah, so I was the opposite of actually a lot of the clients that I work with. with, where they're looking for much more like alpha type men. I was looking in the other direction, and that was I needed somebody who was a little more in charge of
Yes.
themselves to
Yeah.
to be a good fit for me. So it's different, and that's where the one-on-one work comes in and is important, is because everybody kind of has a different story. They have different unconscious blocks that are drawing them to situations that might be toxic for them. But we can
Yeah.
identify those things and do a little work and let those go, so you can move forward to create what is actually going to make you happy, because it's super
Absolutely.
painful to be stuck in a negative pattern and just not understand why it keeps happening over and over.
Yeah. So do a lot of the women that come to you, are they just getting out of a toxic relationship? Are they just maybe a bad marriage? What's going on with those women, and what kind of advice do you have for them?
So all types. I have people who have never even people have definitely who are getting out of toxic relationships, or clients that I work with frequently. I also have worked with clients who are frustrated because they've never even been in a serious relationship, and
Yeah.
so it doesn't even go that far. And maybe the toxic relationship was actually with their family, or with their job, or even with themselves, just having some sort of negative belief system about themselves. Um, so it really can be any type of past experience. I would say usually I work with women who are out of a difficult relationship.
And so what happens with that? Have they gone from the toxic relationship and bounced right into the dating world, and then they're freaking out, or how does it go? What happens?
Typically,
Yes.
it's usually on the opposite end of the spectrum. Either they are terrified to do anything and they just don't even want to leave their house,
Yeah.
or they have jumped right back in. So they're out of balance usually.
Yes.
And it's just that there is more healing work that needs to be done. Sometimes, if you've especially women who have been in long-term relationships, I've worked with a lot of people who've married 20, 30 years, and now they're just starting to date. They are trying to establish who they even are outside of that relationship, because you have to kind of reclaim your identity as an individual person again, and kind of
Yeah.
figure out who you are, and that takes a little bit of time. um,
Yeah.
or they're have a lot of fear. They haven't dated in a long time. What if they get rejected? What if
Yeah.
nobody swipes right, all that kind of stuff. So
Oh God, that fear. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so what when those when women are struggling and so they've gotten out of this toxic relationship, what are some of the things that will happen when they're out in the dating world, and what kind of advice do you give them, when things kind of go awry? Like, let's say they in their past relationship, they really put up with bad behavior.
So I think to be successful in dating and have fun dating, and this is what I learned over the 5-year period, is that you have to be confident, you have to be not attached to the outcome, and you have to be feeling like a whole person. You can't have this big open wound that you're hoping somebody else will be the band-aid for. So
Right.
that's when if you're dating during any of those times that you're feeling bad about yourself, or you're feeling like you have this wound, and I did it, so no judgment, but it's not going to go well. It's just so you
Yeah.
want to be in a place where you're super confident and unattached. And so that's some people will say, well, that's easier said than done, or I think I already feel that way, but I'm still having bad results. If you're having bad results, if it's feeling devastating to you, you really need to do that inner work that I focus on in the first 8 weeks of my program, to
Yeah.
be in a place, because when you're confident, it doesn't really matter. You could go on a bad date and
Yeah.
laugh it off. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It's just a
Exactly.
date.
It is just a date, and there's no reason to be so terrified of it.
But when you're wounded and you're wondering, is this going to be the person that is going to rescue me from the pain that I've been in? Or is this finally going to be the person that saves me from all my pattern of toxic relationships? If you're in that place, you're not going to attract the right people. You're going
No,
to
you're
attract people who are in that place too. And then two wounded people
Yes.
come together, and then we know what happens after that.
It's not good.
No.
It's a big festering wound.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
One of the quotes from Rumi that I think you really love, and so do I,
Mhm.
is that your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that
Yes.
you have built against it.
Exactly. And that, I mean, and I think that you will say the same. When I met Travis, I had cleared those blocks. So
Yes.
it was like he showed up like magic when that happened. And I
Yes,
believe that's true for everybody.
it really is. And there's somebody out there for everyone,
Mhm.
and so you just have to be ready ready for him. And you've always said you can't miss the one.
No. And actually, a friend of mine said that to me when I'm like, nothing's working out. Maybe I did the wrong thing. Maybe I said the wrong thing. And you really can't. I don't think that you can miss the one. I think if it is supposed, I mean, if you're fighting so hard for something that's not working, it's probably not the one.
Yeah. So we are going to take a quick break. And I just want, if you could remind everybody how they can get in touch with you for this incredible Richer Love dating program.
So just go to my website, richerlove.com, and fill out a consultation form, and we can meet and chat. If it's a good fit, we will get you in the program and get you on the path to attracting your soulmate.
12 weeks to love.
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Laura Richer Show with Laura Richer here on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Transformation Talk Radio. Today's episode of the Laura Richer Show with Laura Richer is all about Richer Love, my 12-week dating program for women who have found themselves to be single at a time that they didn't expect to be.
Yay. This is perfect for Valentine's Day Eve, aka Galentine's Day.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm your co-host, Andi Lucas, owner of Hummingbird Marketing Services, co-founder of the Sisterhood, which is finally here. We're finally going to talk about it.
Yay.
But before we jump in, Laura, please let everyone know how they can find out more information about Richer Love, your 12-week dating program.
So you can check out my website, richerlove.com. You can find me on social media. I am on Facebook at Richer Love Dating Program. I'm on Instagram at Richer_Love. Check those out because Hummingbird Marketing Services has made some lovely posts on my behalf there.
Yes.
And you can also just email me if you have any questions at laura@richerlove.com.
Fantastic. So, Laura, what is a sisterhood and why does every single woman facing the dating scene need one?
So I am so grateful for you when I was single because you were also single and the only other person that I knew that was in the same boat as me.
And going through online dating.
And we had very sivimilar stories coming out of relationships around the same age and that were long-term relationships and having to navigate the dating scene in a way that we had never had to before.
Yes.
And so I felt like I was going crazy a lot of the times. I would tell my friends and my family, who haven't been single in 20
decades.
Years. Yeah. What I was going through. And I know that they thought that there was just something wrong with me, that this, all seemed very bizarre to them. So,
yes.
And they were right on some level. There were some things that needed to be addressed. But it was great to have you just to say like, hey, I had this horrible experience and we could laugh it off. And just kind of a sounding board because you were going through the same experience and you got it. You knew what it was like on the dating scene in Seattle.
Which is not always easy.
No, it was, you go through runs where you don't connect with people or you find some bizarre behavior in people and you feel like, God, is this me? Is there something wrong with me? So that is why I wanted to create a sisterhood, which you came up with that name.
I stole it from the Urban Dictionary. The Urban Dictionary, yes. Because I get the daily dictionary word of the day from the Urban Dictionary, which I love.
And it was so fitting because let me read what the Urban Dictionary has to say. A sisterhood is a group of girls that have been through relationships with D-bags, and decide to no longer be a rug for them to walk on. They form a group where together they constantly encourage each other to take no stuff from insignificant others that are not worth their time. So that was what we did. We had our own 2-person sisterhood. So when I was reflecting on my dating experience, I thought that was so important for me to keep my sanity. And that's why I wanted to make that part of the Richer Love dating program, is I wanted to have a group component of single women who can connect with each other, and we can have a weekly call and just chat about what's going on and give each other feedback so that you don't feel like you're losing your mind, that you know that this is just part of the thing.
And it's also someone to bounce ideas off of, because many times if you're dating and you don't have friends who are in the online dating world, who have been married for 20 years and have no clue about any of it. And now you're going to write an online dating profile. Do you have any idea what to say? And unless you go in and pose as a man to see what other women are saying and then try to model it off of that, you have no idea what to say. You don't know what pictures look the best. You don't. And so it's also another way to say, hey, can you look at this and just give me your honest feedback?
Mm-hmm.
And I think many times it's difficult. Like if I would show, my sister is always very, very honest with me. And so she was able to say, hey, these pictures are not very flattering, or this doesn't look right, or whatever. But in writing the profile, I didn't know what to say. So it really helped to have you look at it, to have other people just give, to just get some advice on it and not feel like I was doing everything by myself, not feel like I'm totally alone.
And that is something that we will do. We will give you feedback on your online profile in terms of your pictures and how you're representing yourself. I know when I first wrote an online dating profile, I wanted to sound like I was fun or interesting, or I don't know what I was trying to portray, what my thought process was. But you would have read that thing and thought that I was like the most athletic sports freak, which is so far
Not
from
true.
who I have no idea what's going on in sports. No one has ever described me as athletic. So so it's good to have some feedback to go like, yeah, you're going to attract the wrong person to you. You're going to attract somebody who thinks that, you're going to
Yes.
be rooting for football season with him, when in fact you are not going to be able to watch that for more than 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a whole other aspect of it. And then just kind of having that support system for when you come home and you've had a really just not good date. And it's
Mhm.
like, what am I crazy? Did I say something wrong, or whatever? Just somebody. So not only is there the group coaching part of it, but there's also the closed Facebook group
Yeah.
where you can post. So if something comes up before that group call or in that week during it, you can still post there, and we can all be your source of support during that, to kind of bounce these things off. Like it is kind of crazy out there. It can be crazy, and you run across some interesting fellows, you know?
I don't think you'll mind if I share some of your stories, but
No,
this is
please.
where our Sasterhood connection was so important. I remember that you called me or texted me when somebody had let you know 2 hours prior to your date that they were canceling because they were
Yeah.
on another date that was so good that they couldn't.
It was going so well. I just have to see this through, but take care, Andy. It was like, that is so 2 hours. So you booked 2 dates, and our date was at 2 PM.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
wow, that was
He was
yeah.
just trying to. So in that moment, I know that you felt frustrated, and we talked it through, and
Yeah.
and we identified that actually he didn't really even, you already
No.
knew before that that wasn't the right
No,
match for you.
he really wasn't, just even based on his profile, but I was willing to let so many things go because
Yeah.
I thought, well, I just have to, I'll just give it a try. I was echoing my mom's voice there, like, oh, well, I'll just give it a shot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, please. Yes. Another time that it was really, really important that I had you there to kind of talk through is that I had started dating somebody who didn't he wasn't really what I was looking for, but he was so different from anybody else because he was gainfully employed and he was very giving and thoughtful and everything. But I, because I was seeing those nice qualities, I was failing to see that he was all over it and wanted to, after the third date, wanted to be exclusive and I was like, oh, okay. On the fourth date, I was making dinner. He came over and brought all of this stuff, like 3 bags of stuff that he was like essentially kind of moving in. I was so overwhelmed. I called you and I said, I think I have made a terrible
Yes.
decision. And you kind of walked me through letting him know, look, this is not okay. This is too soon. I have been single for too long to suddenly go from 0 to 60, and
Mhm.
we're done here.
Well, and that was such a red flag for
Mhm.
you. And I think and that's the other thing that the Sasterhood can really help you with. Because sometimes we doubt
Yes.
ourselves and we're like, is this a red flag, or am I being too picky? Or, and you can get some feedback that, yes, if somebody tries to move in fact, on your third date, it is a red flag.
That is a very, very big
Yeah.
red flag that was waving. I think it had lights on it, like,
Yeah.
hello, hello, don't
Yeah.
do this, don't do this. Yeah.
And I can't, and maybe it's just selective memory. I can't think. I know that you talked me through bad dates that I went on and mishaps that happened where I was like, God, is there something wrong with me? And sometimes you're like, yeah, that, this is not what you're looking for, or
Yes.
you're trying to be somebody that you're not, or, so it was
Yes.
helpful to get that feedback. I think you even text me from a bar one night and you're like, yeah, this guy confirmed, but he's not showing up.
Yes. And he didn't. And then he kept moving it back, and it was just like, okay, I'm done here. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done waiting around. There was another time that I rescued you from someone. I actually came to the date to
Oh,
help you out
yes.
of it because he had been out drinking on a boat all day and then had the date scheduled and showed up and
Yes.
was blind drunk and actually passed out at the table while we were sitting.
Yes. And so unfortunately, I don't know if I can offer that service through my program where I go
No.
directly to the bar to save you, but I can certainly offer you some resources. If you just hop on that Facebook page,
Yeah.
we'll get you out of a bind.
Exactly. So here's a good question. Like we're talking about this. Why isn't it just like I have a group of friends? Why can't they just be my sisterhood?
I mean, we all do have but at this point in our lives, when I was dating in my late 30s and early 40s, that a lot of my friends hadn't been single in years. They
Right.
hadn't been single since we were in college or in our early 20s. So while they were supportive and they cared about me and they were there to listen, like they didn't get it. They hadn't
Right.
had this experience. Like I said before, I would tell people what was going on, and I think that they thought that just somehow I was doing something wrong on every date I went on. And so while it was true that there was some healing work that I needed to do, at the same time, it was just like, online dating is a different world than what it was like when you just met your boyfriend in college.
Exactly. I think also sometimes they give you maybe terrible advice. Friends do because they don't
Yes.
want to hurt your feelings.
Yep.
He's intimidated by you, Laura. That's why he didn't call you back.
Yeah. So you should give him another chance.
Yeah.
He just loves you. He likes you too much. He can't handle it.
Yeah.
That is the worst
He
advice
can't.
anyone could give anyone.
He likes you too much, and that's why he's not. I mean, I remember watching Sex in the City, and they kind of played on that idea of he's just not that into you, and Miranda finally got it why the guy didn't want to go up to her apartment with her afterwards.
Yeah.
And somebody else was dating somebody who said, "Well, he's just not into you.
Yeah.
If he was, he would have gone up. Nothing would stop a man from going up to a woman's apartment if he's invited." So I think that having that honesty, but she got it from a friend's boyfriend, so
Because we don't want to hurt our friends' feelings.
right.
And I certainly, being part of the sisterhood is all about being kind and respectful and supportive.
Absolutely.
It's not harsh, but at the same time, it's about being honest and saying yes. If this person doesn't return your text for 3 days, they're probably not into you. Everyone has time to return a text. If they're
Yes.
so busy with work that they can only fit you in, they're leaving the bar at around 11 o'clock. They're not into you.
Exactly.
So it's good to get some of that feedback. I love this quote from the book, He's Just Not That Into You.
Oh, yes, Greg.
And then this is where a lot of things go wrong. He said, let's start with this statistic. You are delicious. Be brave, my sweet. I know you can get lonely. I know you can crave companionship and sex and love so badly that it physically hurts. But I truly believe that the only way you can find out that there's something better out there is to believe there's something better out there. What other choice is there?
Exactly.
So I mean, I love how that just sums up why people tolerate bad behavior is you just want something to come together. You just want to
Yes.
find your soulmate, but you have to be ready for them. And you need to not settle for less than what you're
Yes.
looking for. That is never going to make you happy.
It absolutely will not.
Yeah.
So let's talk about another quote that you've brought up to me that is one of your least favorite quotes, but a lot of women tend to use it as an empowerment quote.
This is that cryptic meme that I was referring to, that you know something has gone awry when somebody
Yes.
posts this quote on their Facebook page. And do you have it written there? I don't know if I have it right
I
in
do.
front of me.
It's Marilyn Monroe who
Yes.
says, "If you can't take me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best."
Yes. And so I love all the magnificence that is Marilyn Monroe. However, I think that we probably can see that she was a pretty wounded, emotionally unstable individual. And
Yes.
so I'm sure she had a lot of difficult moments. And that's not who you want to be when you're dating. You want to be, and yes, we all have a bad day and we all get sick, and we want our partners to be there for
Yes.
us. But if you're looking for people who will connect with you when you are wounded and engaging in negative behavior, that person is also going to be wounded, engaging in negative behavior.
Yes.
That is not, if you're going out, getting too drunk, saying the wrong things, being a hot mess, person you're going to attract to you during that time, I promise you, you do not want to date that person.
No, they're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're going to get drunk and say the wrong things and do the wrong things. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
You say, what is it that you say about being a mirror, or that we reflect the
Yeah,
relationships reflect who we are and how we're feeling?
Yes, our relationships mirror back to us where we're at with ourselves. So if you have a lot of negative relationships in your life, especially the ones that you're choosing, sometimes with family and career, we don't get to choose those relationships. But if you show, you're the people that you're dating, there's a lot of toxic behavior and negativity. You need to look at yourself and see, what is it about me? What's going on right
Yeah.
now that is attracting these situations to me? And that is a hard mirror to look in. We do not want to always look in
No.
that mirror.
No, we don't. And that's something that the sisterhood will do, is
Yeah.
maybe sometimes hold that mirror up and say, hey, wait a minute,
Yeah.
what's going on here? I think another thing, that in the program, you ask women to write down kind of their list of who they're looking for. What is kind of their ideal relationship, and who do they want to be? What are the values that this person has? Not just what are the interests that this person has.
And what would the relationship dynamic be like? So this is
Yes.
an exercise. There's a really great book that I recommend everyone in my program to read called The Soulmate Secret by Ariel Ford. Is it Ariel Ford? Yeah,
Probably.
Ariel Ford. Sorry. Anyway, so in this book, that was an exercise that she said to do, is to sit down and to make your list as specific as you possibly can of who are you looking for. And it wasn't meant to be specific in a superficial way, like, he needs to be 6'2" and
Right.
drive a Mercedes or something. It was more about, what are the traits and the qualities of a person that I would like to be with. And then the next piece of it is to say, what is my vision for the relationship? So
Yeah.
this, going back to the example I used earlier, if you are like, I want a really like aggressive alpha male, career oriented, go-getter guy, but then I want to live a quiet life in the country with my family, these are not lining up.
Right. So
So, or maybe
it
they
helps you
can
know
under
like
the
that.
right circumstances, but typically,
Yes.
it may not.
Yeah.
So, just kind of getting some clarity about what you're looking for. So, for me personally, I don't know how this happened, and I always liked somebody who was really charming and charismatic and social and outgoing, because those are all traits that I don't see in myself, and so I admire those traits in other people. And that's great, and I still admire those traits in other people.
Yeah.
However, that's not the right fit for the relationship I want to be in. So I always
Right.
wanted to be in a connected relationship where we were kind of each other's best friends, and we did most things together, and we're kind of a family unit. But then I would date these really like outgoing, extroverted guys who were always in kind of like a bromance type situation where their
Sure.
primary relationship was with their buddies. And so while I appreciated those qualities, I started to learn like that person is not going to line up with what I'm trying to create in my
Right.
life.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So what I like about the program too is that then you have them send that list of what they're looking for and what these qualities are, to the sisterhood, so that we can help check in. Hey, wait a
Mhm.
minute. You're going out in the state and you're really liking this guy, but wait a minute, none of this is lining up.
Right.
And it can kind of help them stay on track, because it can be easy to fall off. I remember there was somebody I had all this chemistry with, and I just thought he was the bee's knees. I was borderline obsessed with this person, and
Mhm.
you were able to stop me and say, now wait a minute, this guy doesn't know your last name.
He
He
was
has
pretty self-involved. Like, you
he's
were looking,
very
I knew you were looking for a partner, and this guy was looking for a fan, basically.
exact, and he
Yeah.
found one. He found an adoring
He did.
fan.
He did.
He also had yet to file the paperwork he was separated, but yet file the paperwork for the divorce out of his 20-year marriage that
Yeah.
had 2 children. You were able to say to me, look, he is not ready. This is not somebody you want to get involved with. I chose to ignore, and then it came crashing down on me. He wasn't ready to date.
No.
So yeah,
No,
you
and
were
he
right.
wasn't even, he didn't meet the criteria of what you were looking for. And this is so, and I hope this doesn't, giving this feedback, people aren't going to go, well, I won't want to be in a part of a group like this is going to tell me to not date anybody. But
No.
it's just to, it's actually to help support you in moving you in the direction that you're trying to go. And that
Yes.
chemistry can I met some people that I had a good connection with that I thought were attractive, and it really made me go, oh, well, maybe I can let go of, I can
Yeah.
renegotiate what I'm looking for here. But in the end, that doesn't, I mean, you could do that as long as you want. And I did that for a couple of years, but it never led me to what I wanted, which was a soulmate relationship.
Yes, exactly. So we only have a few minutes left, and there's a couple of things that you kind of have a list of who is this program perfect for. And
Yes.
I just have a couple of them that I think are really fantastic. So have you ended a significant relationship and find yourself dating at an age you thought you'd be settled and not deling with this anymore?
Mhm.
Yes, Richer
That-
Love is perfect for you.
That is probably the majority of the women that I work with.
Yeah. Do you believe that there's no one out there who's going to work for you? All the good ones are taken, or there's only geeks and losers left?
Mhm.
Yes, Richer Love is for you.
Yep.
Yes. Does low self-worth and or low self-esteem continue to show up in your relationships where you're accepting table scraps, accepting things that you would never accept from a best friend? You wouldn't allow a best friend to treat you that way, but you're letting this person, Richer Love is for you.
Yep. Self-love is the answer to all of our problems.
Yes.
It's so corny, but it is the truth. If you can really love yourself, all of these problems go away.
Exactly. Have you settled for men who don't meet your expectations and then feel really let down? That's a big one. And are you unclear or unsure of what you are actually looking for?
And the not settling for, or settling for people that don't meet your expectations, I feel like that does come up with a lot of like the career women that I work with.
Mhm.
And I just want to say is just because you can do everything doesn't mean that you should, that you
Yes.
still are probably wanting an equal partner, even though you can do it all yourself. I know you can, you already are. And then the other thing is that you don't want to manage your relationship. You don't want to like you would employees manage it
Mhm.
into, project onto what you want to be and then manage somebody into the role you envision for them. That might work at work, but it
Yeah.
doesn't work in relationships.
Yes, that is so true. Just because you can do it all doesn't mean that you have to
Yeah.
or that you should. And so that's another one. Are you a single professional woman who has a successful career, a great group of friends, and a really busy life, but you just are missing that love relationship? Then Richer Love is for you.
Yes.
So really quick, can we just overview what is involved in this program? Because I think it is so robust and so fantastic. I wish it had been available for me 5 years ago.
We probably wouldn't have been
7
single
years
for
ago.
5 years had
No,
we
I wouldn't
had this
have.
available. So it is a 12-week program. It's a coaching module once a week with a workbook of exercises for you to be engaged in the healing work and the processing work the whole 12 weeks. It also includes 3 one-on-one sessions with me where we can do work specific to you and what your specific challenges are. And I can work with anybody in the country or world for that matter. All sessions are done over Zoom like we are today for our radio
Yes.
show.
Hello, Zoom.
And it also includes access to the group call each week with the Sasterhood, the closed Facebook group. Anytime if you're getting stood up, you can just contact us right away. We'll be there.
Yeah.
And the most important piece is the hypnotherapy. I think that
Yes.
that's what really makes this program stand out, is that you can really explore on a deep level what your unconscious blocks are, clear them so you can create the
Yeah.
relationship you really want.
And they're about 10 to 15 minutes a piece.
Yes.
Just sitting and listening and getting very comfortable and relaxed to really delve deep into what you're looking for. Yeah. And the video modules, those are not, I mean, it's intense work that people are doing for themselves.
Yeah,
right?
the video modules are about 10 minutes of content, usually each week. Some are a little more than that, but I'm talking you through the exercises, and that is where all the good stuff is. So for
Yeah.
you to be able to engage in the exercises each week that you need to do, and I have specifically chosen each week to build on the previous week to where you get to the end that you are ready to date and have a fantastic
You're ready.
time out there. Yeah.
Ready for love.
Yeah.
So, before we close, and again, thank you so much for having me here on Galentine's Day, Singles
Thank you so much for
Awareness
being back,
Day.
Andi. It's
I
so
know,
much
it's
fun.
so fun. I love it. Remind everyone how they can get in touch with you for the Richer Love dating program.
So just go to richerlove.com and fill out a consultation form, and we can chat and see if this program would be a good fit for you to get you on your way to connecting with your soulmate. You can also find me at the Richer Love Dating Program on Facebook, the Richer _love at Instagram.
Yep.
And I would recommend filling out a consultation form, and we can chat and I can talk to you one-on-one and see if this is a good fit for you.
But there's no reason that single ladies listening now can't be in a happy love, like a happy, fulfilling, nurturing love relationship that they want next year at this time if they connect with you now.
Yes. So if you're sick of being single, just give us a call.
richerlove.com. Fantastic. Well, thanks for having me, Laura. This was a fantastic show. I can't wait to listen to the next one or maybe come back again on the Laura Richer Show.
Thank you
Thanks for
so much,
having me.
Andy. And Andy, tell everybody where they can find you, because Andy has helped me launch and market this program. And I've got all my beautiful social media posts. And so if you have your own business, you might want to reach out to Andy.
Yeah, I am at hummingbirdmarketingservices.com. And you can find me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of that stuff, but just hummingbirdmarketingservices.com. You can't miss us. So thank you so much for having me. Everybody have a happy Valentine's Day. Here's to love.
Thanks, Andy.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Laura Richer Show, using your dating breakdown for a relationship breakthrough. Join dating coach Laura Richer and myself, matchmaker Peggy Bennett, on transformationtalkradio.com. If you've been feeling stuck in unhealthy habits, toxic relationships, or low self-esteem, you'll want to tune in each month for tools on how to attract the relationship you truly want and deserve. For more information or to listen to past shows, visit richerhealinghypnosis.com.